Okay, students, today we are going to learn cash, the new topic. Cash is highly portable, so it has a high risk of being stolen. So how do business safeguard its money? Business safeguards its money through internal control. Internal control over cash. There are four methods whereby business adopts to have internal control over their cash. Number one, segregations of duty. Separate cash handling and cash recording duties. So simply it means that no one employee should be handling cash and recording of cash at the same time. It should be handled by two separate uh, employees so that no single person has control over the entire cash process. Custody of cash, secure cash and variable items in log storage. Authorizations, obtain a proper approval of all payments from authorized personnel. So if there's need for payment of money, so you need to seek approval from at least two different people. All right. Then lastly, bank reconciliations. Compare the cash or bank balance to the bank statement balance and to make sure that all differences can be accounted for. What is the difference between a cash or bank account and a bank statement? Cash or bank account is prepared by the business. It is seen from the business perspective, while the bank statement is prepared by the banker. It is seen from the banker's perspective. It is logical to presume that entries in a cash or bank account should also be found in a bank statement. However, if you look closely, the entry recorded are at the opposite columns of one another. The debit columns, credit column, debit column. The debit columns of cash or bank accounts records deposits, receiving money, increase, plus. The debit entries of cash or bank can also be found on the credit columns of the bank statements. The credit columns of bank statements records the deposits. Why is it so? Why are the entries recorded are opposite columns from one another? Now this is because cash or bank, which is prepared by the business, is seen from the business point of view. Any deposit, which is a debit entry, is seen as an asset to the business, while a deposit from the business is seen as a liability to the banker. Hence, bankers will record a deposit on the credit columns to reflect an increase in the banker's liability. So, cash or bank credit columns record all payments of money decrease. Hence, for bank statements, all records of payments of money by the business will be recorded on the opposite side, which is a debit column. Since cash or bank and bank statements entries are opposite, the debit balance in cash or banks will represent a positive figure, which means that credit balance in bank statements will represent a positive balance too. While a credit balance in cash or bank's account, which represent a negative balance, it will also be shown as a debit balance in the bank statement. Should the ending balance amount in the cash or bank and the bank statements be the same? Yes, logically they should be the same because it's basically the business money. The business money that reflect in the bank statement should also be the same as what is reflected in the cash or bank account. However, most of the time, the ending balance of the cash or bank account and the bank statements are not the same. Why is the ending balance of the cash or bank account and the bank statement are not the same? This is due to the timing differences in recording, which means that the bank has recorded the transactions, but the business has not recorded them yet. Likewise, the business has recorded the transactions, but the bank has not recorded them yet. Or it could be due to the error in recording in the cash or bank account and or the bank statement. What should the business do if the ending balance of the cash or bank account and the bank statement is not the same? The business will need to update the cash or bank account for items not recorded by the business or if there's any error made by the business. Number two, the business will also need to prepare a bank reconciliation statement for items not recorded by the bank or error made by the bank. What is the purpose of preparing a bank reconciliation statement? It is basically to account for the difference in the cash at bank ending balance and the bank statement ending balance. Basically, what it all means is to find out why are the ending balance of the two of the cash at bank account and the bank statements are different. Okay, the following slides now we are going to learn how to prepare an updated cash at bank account and to prepare a bank reconciliation statement. There are 5 steps to prepare an updated cash at bank account and bank reconciliation statement. The first step, check if the beginning balance of the cash at bank account and the bank statement are the same. If the beginning balance of the cash at bank account and the bank statement are the same, we can move on to step 2. Looking at the sample here, the cash at bank account and the bank statement, we found that the cash at bank account here, the beginning balance is 3,400, while the bank statement, the beginning balance is 3,000. So they are different. Okay, what shall we do knowing that the beginning balance of the cash at bank account and the bank statements are not the same? We need to find the difference in their balances, taking the cash at bank balance minus the bank statement balance. So in this case, it's 3,400 minus 3,000. You get a positive 400. What shall we do next? We will have to look for this figure in the bank statement and cancel this figure. If the figures is a positive, we will look at this figure at the deposit columns. If the figure is a negative figure, we will look for this figure at the withdrawal columns. So now we will focus just on our bank statement. Since the difference now is a positive 400, we will now look at the deposit column, search for the 400, and we will cancel the 400. Okay, we found it. It's here, so we will cancel the figure. Step 2. Next, we will need to check if there's any additional information which is actually an error statement that's given in the questions. If there is no additional information, we can now move on to step 3. According to these questions, there is an additional information here. So we need to do something before we move on to step 3. Okay, this question, there is additional information which shows that there's an error. There's something that we need to do before we move on to step 3. So we need to cancel the error figure in both the cash at bank account and the bank statement. So which are the figures here? There are so many figures, so which figures shall we cancel? So we need to read the error statement. It was discovered that the entries on 11 July in the business bank account was recorded wrongly. So 11 July here, CK Tan, 960. This figure is actually a wrong figure. It is reflected correctly in the bank statement for check number 31238. So the check number here, this figure 692690 is a correct amount recorded. But we need to cancel both this figure in the cash bank account and the bank statement. So I cancel this figure and I cancel this figure. What shall we do next? We need to do corrections. The correction has to be done in the updated cash at bank account if errors appear in the cash at bank account. Right? So in this case, this error here appears in the cash at bank account. So we shall do the correction later on when we prepare our updated cash at bank account. But let's analyze what's wrong with this figure 960. 960 is actually extra. There's an extra overstated by $270. So the business has actually recorded an extra of 270 on the debit column. So later on, when we prepare our updated cash at bank account, we will need to record, we will need to deduct $270, and this deduction will be shown on the credit side of the cash at bank account. All right. Now, if there is an error that happens in the bank statement, we will need to do the corrections in the bank reconciliation statement. Okay, step 3. Compare cash at bank account with bank statement. What shall we do? We need to compare the debit column of the cash at bank account with the credit columns of the bank statement. Remember, they are opposite for one another. So we have to compare the debit side of the cash at bank with the credit side of the bank statement. Vice versa, which means the credit side of the cash at bank account will have to be compared against the debit side of the bank statement. What do we do? Cancel figures that are found in both cash at bank account and the bank statement. So let's look at the debit side of the cash at bank account. There is a 2005 here, and on this side there's also a 2005 here, so we will have to cancel this figure. All right. Likewise, there is a 350 here and a 350 here. We will cancel this figure. All right, there's no more already. Then we will compare the credit columns of the cash at bank with the debit column of the bank statement. We found that there is a 1390 and a 1390 here. We will cancel them. Likewise, 270 and a 270 here. So we cancel them. Okay, no more similarity already. So what shall we do next? We will circle the remaining figures. So all the figures, we will have to circle them. All right, the remaining figures, we'll circle them. Okay. Right. Okay. So what shall we do to this circle figure? Now, this circle figure will be used in our answer later on. Okay, step 4. We're going to prepare the updated cash at bank account. Now, updated cash at bank account is basically one of the required question. All right, one of the required part of the question that you need to do. Now, how to prepare the updated cash at bank account? First, we need to make use of the circle figure from the bank statement to update the cash at bank account, which means these 4 circle figure in the bank statement. These 4 circle figure need to be recorded in the bank statement later on. Why? Because these 4 figure have not been recorded in the cash at bank account yet. So we need to update by recording these 4 figure into the cash at bank account. How do we do that? By following a certain format. Okay. So according to the format, we're going to start with the end of the month of the question. So end of the month of this question is July 31st. So I'm going to fill in July 31st and then the figure here. Now, where does this figure come from? This is actually the balance brought down, taken from the ending balance of the cash at bank. So the ending balance of the cash at bank here is $1,055 credit. Now, credit simply refers to a negative figures, a negative balance, right, which is a bank overdraft. So I'm going to record this balance brought down, right, and then record this figure into the balance here, right, which is from here. All right, then next I'm going to record this figure. Now this figure comes from where? This figure is taken from the circle figure of the debit side of the bank statement, all right, to be recorded to the credit side of the cash at bank account. Remember, the debit side of the bank statement is found on the credit side of the cash at bank account. So therefore, this circle figure will be transferred to the credit side of the cash at bank account. All right. So the first figure, 2,500. Now 2,500, what do I record as here in my particular? So you look at this is unpaid check. So unpaid check simply means it's a dishonored check. Who actually dishonored the check? You can get the clue from the cash at bank account looking for this figure, 2,500. Right? So 2,500. So this fella, Vanessa, actually paid us. All right. You see, this figure was actually cancelled against the bank statement, but the banks actually dishonored, the check was dishonored 2 days later. So Vanessa actually dishonored our check, dishonored the check. So I'm going to fill in here. All right. Who is that? Trade receivable, Vanessa. Okay, taken from here. Okay. Then the next figure I'm going to transfer down, which is this one. Okay. So this one, what is the account? It's given here. Rent. Never record banker's order. Banker's order is actually a bank's term. Write down the proper account name, which is rent. And then the next account I'm going to drop down is 50. Okay, the account will be bank charges. So after I record all the circle figure here, the next one I'm going to do will be to record the circle figure. These circle figures come from the credit side of the bank statement, which is here. All right, the circle figure from the credit side of bank statement will be recorded to the debit side of the cash at bank account. So in this case, this question, there's only one circle figure, which is 190. So I'm going to drop this figure here. And then the account is dividends. Now, what does dividends here means? Dividends means is sometimes if you buy shares from companies, right? Companies earn money, profit, they will give us dividends. So in this case, dividend is actually an income to the business. Business buy shares and the other company pay us the dividend. So it's actually an income. So I'm going to record here as account. Dividend is a proper account's name. Okay, so I'm going to record dividends here. So after I transfer all the circle figures here already, the next last steps you need to ask yourself is there any error that we need to do corrections in the cash at bank? Yes, there is, right? There's this figure here, 270. Remember the error statement, 270. So I'm going to drop this 270 onto the credit side of the cash at bank account, right? And then I'm going to record CK Tan. Basically, this is trade receivable because this 960 is recorded on the deposit side. Customer actually pay us, so it's actually a trade receivable. CK Tan, then I bracket error. Okay, so once I've done that, the last step is to find the balance. All right, to record down the balance. Now the balance will be the first day of next month, so July 31st, the next day will be August 1st, and I find the running balance. So according to here, bring down the running balance. This is 7,465. So this is the updated figure for the cash at bank account. Okay, step 5 is to prepare the bank reconciliation statement. Again, it's also one of the part of the questions that you will need to prepare. Okay, so how to prepare a bank reconciliation statement? So basically is to make use of the circle figure from the cash at bank account. So these are the circle figure in the cash at bank account, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 circle figure here, which has not been recorded in the bank statement yet. So these 5 circle figure need to be transferred to the bank statement. All right. We will have to prepare these in a bank reconciliation statement. So there is also a certain format that you need to follow. Okay, so this is the format. You start with the name of the business, then write bank reconciliation statement as at the end of the month. So we do it step by step. According to this question is Sing Sing Trading, the name of the business, bank reconciliation statement as of 31st July 2014. All right, so after this title, we're going to record balance as per bank statement. Now this figure is taken from the ending balance of the bank statement. In this case, this is a 860 debit. Now 860 debit in this case is represent a negative figure, right? Remember, cash at bank debit is positive, but for bank statement debit is negative. All right. Okay, so I'm going to follow step by step. So over here, I'm going to record balance as per bank statement. The figure here, 860, is a negative figure. All right. Then the next step, we're going to add deposit in transit. Alright, at deposit in transit, this figure is taken from the debit column, the debit circle figure of cash at bank, because in cash at bank, the debit sides represent plus a deposit, so plus. So at deposit in transit. So this figure here is taken from the debit side of the cash at bank account. Alright, so according to this question will be these three according to this question will be these two circle figure. Alright, so trade receivable, Linda, and then sales 1006. We do a subtotal 1009. Okay, then next, let's check not yet deposit. Alright, so this is actually taken from the circle figure on the credit side of the cash at bank account. So in this case, there are three circle figure here. Why less? Because on the credit side of the cash at bank represent a minus. Right? Let's check not yet deposit. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to record these three circle figure here. Alright, insurance 4,460, and then Valencia, this is a minus, right? So it's actually obviously it's a trade payable. We are paying to supplier. So trade payable Valencia, and then John 560. Okay. Alright, then now go back to our format. We have to end this bank reconciliation statement by the statement called balance as per updated cash at bank account. So minus, according to our answer here, a minus figure, minus 860 plus 1,900 at, then minus 8,550, we get a balance of 7,465 balance as per updated cash at bank account. Now this figure has to be the same ending figure as your updated cash at bank account in step 4. If it's the same, then your answer is correct. If it's not the same, your answer will be wrong. And where's the error? It could be either in your step 4 or in step 5. Next, sometimes question will ask you to find the effects of bank reconciliations on profit, right? So, which elements actually affects profit? We learned, right? It's actually our income and expenses, right? So where do we look for our income and expenses? All right, we look for this income and expenses figures in the updated cash at bank account, which we prepared in step 4. Now, usually incomes is actually found on the debit side of the cash at bank account because business is receiving money for income. Okay, likewise for expenses is actually usually found on the credit sides of the cash at bank account as business is paying money for expenses. Okay, so looking at our example just now we have prepared the updated cash at bank account. So this is the updated cash at bank account. So where is our income? Where is our expense? Our income is on the debit side, all right? Debit side. So this is the income, dividend. And then where's our expenses? Expenses on the credit side because we are paying money. In this case is rent and bank charges, right? Trade receivable and CK Tan cannot be an expense. These are company, these are name of the person. Okay, so using these two figure, this three figure, income minus expense, we got a negative of 3,640. Therefore, our answer would be profit would decrease by 3,640. Okay, lastly, so sometime question will ask you to find the adjusted profit. So the profit before we do our bank reconciliation, let's say is 10,000. So to find the updated or the adjusted profit, we will have to take this 10,000 minus the effects of the profits that we calculated just now. All right, so just now we have calculated that the profit actually goes down by 3,640, right? So therefore, now the adjusted profit will be 10,000 minus 3,640. That will give you 6,360.